Welcome to another Q&A. So let's just not waste any time and jump into it. Our first question comes from Fatima, and I absolutely apologize for any mispronunciations of your names. Thank you. So the question is, if you grow up in an environment where struggling is encouraged and things coming easily, a frowned upon principle, whack limited beliefs, I know, how can we effectively flip that into believing that we can easily get what we want and don't need to work super hard? Great question. Well, the first thing is going to be aware in the moment that the old other thing is coming up, the old belief like, oh no, this is so hard. Oh, I never get what I want. Simply becoming aware of that internal pop up in your head, it doesn't mean it's true. It's a coping mechanism. When you grow up in an environment where things are very hard, or maybe it's encouraged, like you said, to struggle, to make it hard. Maybe it's a martyr. Maybe it's like, look how much I've suffered. And there's kind of like the Suffer Olympics. Nobody's bad or good in that. It's simply about, oh, this is a cultural acceptance, right? And that's even like in that subgroup of your family. It wasn't safe for it to be easy. So even your perceptional bias is going to see things hard as familiar. You'll attract them because they're familiar. As you learn, I can be safe and experience what I want. I deserve, I'm worth right now experiencing what I want. You can actually start shifting that paradigm. And again, you'll never be able to manifest something that feels unsafe. How do you know if it feels unsafe? Start to look at your past. Start to look at the messaging of, no, you've got to struggle. Also, too, are you willing to be misunderstood by your family? Do you accept that they will still love you and you can attract the things you want and you don't have to suffer? These are all things that you can start doing. The more and more you say, oh no, they're not going to accept it, that's rejection of yourself. That's a prediction based on the past. And it's also a meaning you're putting on that experience or that situation. And in that, it's a rejection of you. So if you can start saying yes to you and learning how to move through the world that way, and again, it does get complex because it's a family. But as you start to see your fears and differentiate yourself from your family and realize, oh, they're afraid potentially of stepping into their highest light. Maybe they were told that they're bad or selfish, or that it's rude to get a lot of attention or to get things really easily. If something's easy, it means it's not worth it. The more and more you start to understand the anatomy of that belief, and the more you realizing it in the moment, the more you can make a new choice. And even though that sounds really simple, you're basically going to start overriding in real time. Every moment you're going to make a new choice. That will help you experience new situations, new beliefs, new thoughts, new feelings, and that's going to breed new situations, which is going to help create disconfirming experiences. The more and more you do that, the more you can see yourself, stay with yourself, and fortify and cultivate an environment where it is safe for you to have that, the easier it'll be. So I hope that answers your question. Second question. This comes from Rachel Peters. Is it okay to not visualize often? I noticed that ever since I worked on myself, I hardly have the urge to visualize. So the first part, we'll stop there and address that. You don't have to visualize all the time, right? Visualizing is essentially creating a mental image of the you that you want to be, the life that you would like to experience. So as you essentially take that version of you and start operating real time, there's a video by Jim Cathcart where he talks about the you want to be. How would they respond to what you're about to do? How would they do what you're about to do? So you don't have to sit there and visualize it. You can visualize, paint that picture, take that picture, that version of you, and put it real time. So no, it is not something you constantly have to do. Once you have the image, once you paint the picture's done. Then it becomes, are you being that person right now? Not waiting for your outside world to change so then you're the new person, but being that inversion of you, that person that you want to be, being them now. So that's the first part and the first answer I would have for you. The second part, also, is it possible that I is doing okay with the self-concept, but my SP has a lot on his mind, confused, scared about the relationship, etc. That is that it can be manifest on me or in a way I can sense as low energy. Absolutely. We're all human beings, and I am a subscriber of free will. I do not think that how other people are in an everyday way, it has every single thing to do with you. Now, I do believe that people will treat you the way you're treating yourself, or that everybody's your beliefs about you pushed out. Sure, you align with wounds. And this is an entirely other different person with their own wounds. So as you start to understand your wounds, your trauma, your beliefs, the more and more you can understand that and see it, the more you'll be able to actually understand other people's and be able to separate the two. If you take every single thing as a reflection of something you're doing wrong or not good enough or you need to change, you're going to be taking on a lot of people's shit. And that's really heavy and that's really, really exhausting. So the more you can say, oh, okay, I'm working on me and I'm noticing that this person has fear. Maybe there's a way that you can actually see from your past, maybe the way that you've done it, right? So you see potentially how you were viewing yourself from a different way. And that's also that person's experience, that person's wounds. That person has a responsibility for their own emotions. So yes, absolutely. You're working on yourself. You're starting to get more clear on that. And you also notice this other person's stuff too. And yes, if you were in a state in which y'all were both more in low energy and then you're starting to grow and you're starting to feel better, then yes, it will be more obvious that you're feeling one way and you can see him feeling in a different state. That doesn't make it wrong, bad, anything like that. It means you're starting to see you and him as different. And again, the more you understand you and work on that and keep that focus on you, you can be there as a supportive person, but it doesn't mean it's your responsibility to change it, or that maybe something you're doing or thinking or feeling is causing this. That is his stuff and you have your stuff. The last question number 3, is coming from a Little Miss Fire. What should you do if you know you want to manifest true love into your life and that true love used to be with a specific person that's now your ex? But now that you've grown, you're not sure if you still want that person, but they actually came back and you realize you do still have feelings for them. And I'm a little unsure and that you believe that they're not right for you. Should you try to change your belief about them because you believe it's too hard to change the belief, or just give up and try to manifest a new love that won't require as much energy and effort? Well, I have more questions about this, but I'm going to do the best I can based on my assumption and vantage point on this. So what I would say is it's a lot of relating to you through somebody else. So that's kind of the first thing. If you're wanting that love, you'll have to create it inside yourself first. What do you need? What is it that a safe, loving, secure relationship would look like? And if you're already having an indication of, I don't think that this person has the emotional availability or the emotional maturity for that role, potentially that's it. I'm not really sure in the specifics of what else is going on. But if you have an idea and you have some intuition, how can you honor that? And I would be aware that if you're saying that you want to change the idea that this might not be right for you, that is potentially muting intuitive wisdom, basically. Only you know what's best for you. You're the only one that's been through your life. So if you have these ideas, so what are things that you need in relationships? Is it consistency, reliability, integrity? All sorts of different things. Also, what does that look like in real life? Okay, I know someone's consistent when they blink. This is how they would show up in real life, and I would know that they're consistent. How can I be more consistent with myself? How can I have more integrity with me, right? So the more you start to understand what it looks like to have those traits that you're looking for in a partnership, the more you can start to see clearly what's going on. If you've attracted emotionally unavailable people in the past, I would look at, are you emotionally available to receive, and are you emotionally available to yourself? This can really help to start wiggle out. And again, the more it's about the other person, the more you're relating through that of what you should do according to them, the more you're losing yourself. And another huge thing here too is if you are feeling like, oh man, to get this relationship, I'm gonna have to do a lot of work. Is it being shown that you're the only one doing the work, or you're the only one, you're having to meet that person in their world? If you grew up in an environment where you constantly had to leave your needs in order to connect with other people, that impulse to abandon you in order to connect could be coming up. At least that's kind of the echoes of what I get. So how can you hold on to your needs and be you and start opening up to relationships that also will treat you that way, that also value your needs and would be excited to meet them? If this video has resonated, this video right here is going to help you understand a bit more about self-abandonment and how it shows up in your life and how shifting it is the gateway to the secure relationship you're looking for. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.